King Cyrus of Persia was a close companion of Daniel, and king thought more highly of Daniel than of any other of his advisors. The Babylonian had an idol named Bel. Each day the people had to provide Bel with an offering of 400 liters of fine flour, 40 sheep, and 200 liters of wine. King Cyrus believed that Bel was a god, and each day he used to go and worship it. But Daniel worshipped his own god. One day king asked Daniel why does he did not worship Baal. To this Daniel answered, I do not worship idols made with human hands. I worship only the living God who created heaven and earth and is the Lord of all mankind. Then king said to Daniel, haven't you seen how much Baal eats and drink every day? On hearing this, Daniel laughed and said, this God you call Baal is nothing more than a clay covered with bronze. It has never eaten or drunk anything. On hearing this, king was very angry and he called 70 of the priests of Baal. King said to the priests, I warn you that you will be put to death unless you can show me that it is Baal who is eating these offerings. If you prove to me, then I will have Daniel put to death. Then they all agreed the proposals. Priests were not worried at all because they had made a secret entrance underneath a table in the temple so that they could go in every night and eat the offerings. When the priest had left, the king set out the food for Baal. Then Daniel ordered his servant to bring some ashes and scattered them all over the floor of the temple. That night, as usual, the priests with their wives and children came into the temple by the secret entrance and ate all the food and drank all the wine. Early the next morning, the king and Daniel went to the temple and saw the table empty. And king shouted, you are great, O Baal, you really are a god. But Daniel began to laugh and said to king, before you enter the temple, look at the floor and tell me whose footprints you see there. I see the footprints of man, women, and children, said the king. And king became very angry that he had priests and their families arrested and brought to him. They showed him the secret doors through which they had come in each night to eat the food placed at the table. So the king had the priests put to death, and he gave Baal to Daniel, who destroyed the idol and torn down the temple.